Welcome back to the Means Report. So happy to have you with us. We want to take a look at what the new year has to offer when it comes to jobs. A lot of people out there wondering what they might do in 2023. Maybe they're looking for a change. So what's it like out there in the real world? Well, we could not think of two better gentlemen to help us go down that road than Jason Kennedy and Charlie Wall. Jason and Charlie are with Loop Recruiting, an amazing company that puts companies and people together. Jason and Charlie, welcome to the Means Report. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, we appreciate you. Jason, I guess I'll start with you to just give us an overview of Loop Recruiting. I picture y'all as somebody who goes out on behalf of companies and finds workers, but are you also an organization that goes out on behalf of individuals and helps put them in the right place? How does it all work when it comes to the world of staffing?
That is a great question. Primarily, companies come to us and they have a specific position that they are trying to fill. We go through, understand the requirements, and go out and search for that person.
All right, what's that search look like, Charlie? Do you have a stack of resumes that people have already brought into Loop Recruiting? How do you get that talent and those companies matched?
Yeah, you know, in some cases we do. We've been doing this now for about 8 years, and so we're fortunate to have a fairly large database of candidates, but you know, really every search is unique and organic, so we pretty much start from scratch with every position that we work on.
And so, you know, kind of piggybacking on that question, Jason, for somebody who's watching right now who says, oh wait, I need a job, do they knock on the door of Loop and say, look, here is my skill set, please match me?
That would have been the case maybe 15 years ago. Now everything's online. We rarely have a candidate into our office with Zoom and everything else that is out there now. The best way is to apply online, follow up with an email or phone call, that sort of thing. But it's all done virtually.
And Charlie, is there a typical, I guess an easier way to ask it is, what's the hottest area in the job market right now? What keeps y'all busiest each day? It sounds like cyber if you're from Augusta, because I hear so much about that. How about from your perspective?
Yeah, we're fortunate to work in a lot of, you know, a wide mix of industry and field. You know, we have a lot of large clients that keep us busy day in, day out, and then a lot of small ones too. And you know, so there's a good mix of both. As far as the industry goes, you know, here in Augusta, you hear a lot about cyber and technology, and it's really great. It's hot, and you know, bringing a lot of people and good jobs to the community. But you know, there are a lot of others. Savannah River site is bringing a lot of engineering and you know, scientific type roles to the area over the next 5 years. Yeah. So you know, I think you can expect to see a lot of growth there as well.
All right, so kind of walk me through the advantages of having professionals like you all and the folks at Loop help match companies and people versus, and I don't want to sound old school here, but putting yourself out on Facebook or some other form of social media and saying, hey world, here I am, here's what I do, hire me.
Well, that's still a great way to do it, but ideally, when a company comes to us, they are telling us exactly what they're looking for. From a culture and personality perspective, from a skill set, education requirements. And so what we do is we go out and we search for candidates that fit that profile exactly.
How can I get on your radar? If I'm a job candidate and I'm loving everything you're saying and I'm saying, wait, I'm the perfect candidate for what these guys are talking about, they can match me, how do I get top of mind with Loop?
Yeah, you know, there's a couple different ways. One, like Jason mentioned, you need to go on our website and review our job postings that are updated, you know, multiple times a day as soon as we're getting job recs in. And then also just being proactive on LinkedIn and some of the other professional networking sites. We're very active and very proactive with the way that we search and target candidates, and it certainly helps when candidates are doing the same thing versus, hey, I'm just going to you know, apply to this position and wait to hear something back.
Yeah, we call that the post and pray method.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the apply and pray.
Yeah, so. And just keep hitting refresh on your device and seeing if you get any bites. What can people do to make themselves more marketable, to make themselves stand out? What could I tell my children at this point? Hey guys, make sure you study this or go down this route, because I promise you if you do, Loop will match you with somebody in a few years?
Well, I think if somebody's doing the right things now, if you're a high school student and you're doing the right things now, you won't even need a loop. You can have a skill set that is in such demand that you'll have people like us trying to go find you. Things that cannot be outsourced, jobs that can't be outsourced, jobs that can't be done by robots, those are going to be the things, the positions that are the most difficult to fill over the next 10, 15 years.
Tell me a job that can't be done by robots. Just like say, just to put us all at ease because we feel like they're taking over.
Yeah, I think anything in healthcare,
Right.
anything that's a skilled trade, HVAC, plumbing, I mean, those types of things that no one's going to know how to do in 10 years because all the HVAC guys and plumbers have retired.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the roles where if you're a 25-year-old, you could go out and start your own business and kill it.
And kill it.
Yeah.
You could. Do kids have to go to college necessarily, Charlie, anymore?
I mean, not necessarily a 4-year degree. I think Jason and I talked a lot this morning about Augusta Tech and Dr. Worrell and what he's doing over there.
Mm-hmm.
Just doing a great job, and there's a lot of excitement around some of the initiatives and things that they've done over the last few months.
What's the workforce look like as far as people going to actual brick and mortar offices and the pandemic virtual reality that we saw? Is it still kind of a mix?
It's a mix, but we talk about this a lot in the office. If in our area, particularly, you see a lot of candidates that are doing more of the hybrid schedule.
Yeah.
We're thinking that this 100% virtual work from home thing, you're already seeing these massive layoffs from these large tech companies, and those are the people that are working from home. They're working remotely 100% of the time. It's if your job can be outsourced or it can be done off-site in another city, another state, it can be done off-site in another country for a fraction of your salary. And
Yep.
so I think if I worked 100% remote right now, I would call my boss and explain to them why I'm valuable to the company and how important I am, and please let me come back into the office ASAP.
Boy, you're seeing that in every industry
Mm-hmm.
just about these days, especially as we kick off 2023. Charlie, let me ask you this, and it's just how long does it take? Whether it's from when a company reaches out to Loop or when I get on your radar by applying on your website, how long till I'm getting a paycheck?
Well, that's in many cases $1 million question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different factors that would play into that. With some of the more entry level positions, it's a pretty quick process. There are places you could go this afternoon and get a job and get hired. Other positions that are, a more specific skill set or rare or really hard to find, it could take as long as 6 months. I think our average across the board is probably somewhere around 40 or 45 days.
It's not bad.
So,
Yeah, to go from not having a job or from wanting a better job to
Right.
having one, month and a half or so, not bad. Probably my last question, one or two more, and either one of you can answer this, and it's just for somebody who thinks, well, maybe I'm not ready for a full-time job. Maybe I'm more suited for part-time or seasonal work. Is that still a thing? Is that something that Loop does?
Yeah, the seasonal thing, certainly. Our industry is really helpful for companies that have experienced fast growth or seasonality.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to go out and hire a couple hundred people at once, so that's when our phone rings. So it's definitely a thing. TaxSlayer in town, for example, they hire a big seasonal group every year in the spring. ADP, they hire a big seasonal group in the fall. So there's definitely seasonality if someone wants to work more of that, a couple months at a time.
Sometimes here on the news we report so much negative stuff, and I want to give viewers hope, if there is hope for 2023. Are people hiring? Is the job market good? Should we be fearful as this new year gets underway?
The short answer is we're in a pretty good place.
Mm-hmm.
As of November, when the jobs report came out, and I think a new one comes out today, there are about 10 million open positions across the U.S. and 6 million people unemployed. I do think we've seen a lot of people changing jobs. They called that the great reshuffling over the last couple of years.
Yep.
And I think that's been good for employees, but I think we're going to see that calm down and people are going to remain in their roles now, as it's a little bit uncertain, but that's good too. It'll allow the environment to shift a little bit from where it was 100% more of a candidate-driven employment market to something that's a little more 50-50, where companies and candidates are both having the same opportunities to either find a job or find a new employee.
Well, listen, I can't thank you both enough. I know our time flew by, as I told you it would, but I think the information is helpful, not only for organizations that need workers, but for people who need jobs or want to switch jobs. Appreciate you and everybody at Loop and what y'all do to make that happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Charlie Wall, Jason Kennedy, appreciate y'all. When we come back, how you can help shape future editions of the Means Report and get more great guests like Jason and Charlie. Stay with us.